Great. So, nice to meet with yourself, Miao, and thanks for coming on today and having this interview with myself. Just for the sake of it, I'm just going to do some introductions and a reason for this interview. I'm the CEO of InterEx Group. Of course, we know each other, but for everyone else's sake, could you just give me a bit of a intro on who you are as well, Miao?
Sure. So it's a great pleasure to be here today. My name is Miao Song. I'm Global Chief Information Officer of Mars Pet Care Business, based out of Brussels, Belgium.
Great. So I contacted Miao. Miao is a customer of ours. She works at Mars, as everyone knows. The reason why we've reached out to Miao is obviously we know Miao's presence within the IT technology world. She won CIO of the Year award, and us as a business model and thinking ahead of International Women's Day, we wanted to do something different. We wanted to, I would say, put a bit of a twist on the current market right now, where there's a big topic or a hot topic around International Women's Day and diversity inclusion. Now, diversity inclusion is such a hot topic, not just within the recruitment industry, but within tech, but in general worldwide. And of course, what we was keen to do is, really have a conversation with yourself, Miao, on your thoughts around diversity inclusion, your thoughts around women in tech, and just to have an open topic, so the industry can see such a powerful woman like yourself, Miao, in the industry, and how you've managed to climb up the ranks, let's say. But like I said, us as a business, we're introducing like a product and offering where when we're working and supporting businesses, that we're actually offering a diversity inclusion process. And we believe that this is such a hot topic within the industry. So yeah, to kick things off, Miao, it would be great. Could you just give us a bit of an overview on your, let's say, life within tech, how you got into tech, and also your intro into Mars?
Sure, thank you, Jamie. So I have been, since I was a young girl, I've been always interested in technology. The first time I saw a computer, it was really, really long time ago in my high school. So I fell in love with computer already. At that time, it was a really, really old Apple machine.
Yeah.
But when I started in uni, I find actually in general women was underrepresented in tech, all the STEM subjects, including computer science. But that also gave me another view, is that actually it's pretty good as a woman in this world. I know it's hard, but again, think about the future opportunities. I thought was good. But when I pursue my career in the whole process, I find often people were talking about why women were doing this, because you have to really pay extra efforts to really climb the career ladder. If you look at the current tech industry, there are a few things I see. One is really gender diversity. Basically, women are underrepresented, but broadly, I think there is need for the industry to think about how to create a truly inclusive culture. The reason why it's so important is that only if you create inclusive culture, you will be able to, the organization and companies will be able to hear the different voices. I think that's a true essence of innovation. If the culture is very unified and people don't listen to different voices, different opinions, ideas, there's no innovation. So eventually, this is a business objective. It's not just do something for the sake of equality, but beyond equality, I think fundamentally, the right diversity and inclusive strategy will help the business to grow as part of business strategy.
Sure.
That's I firmly believed.
Super. And could you just give us your intro into Mars as a business?
Yeah, so it's one of the largest private company, and luckily I'm in the pet care business, which is the largest pet care company in the world. We operate in many parts of the world. So far in 2020, our business grew very well, and I think partially because of the huge increasing demand of people getting new pets during lockdown, during COVID. So it's a really, really good business. In terms of information technology, we have more than 1,000 people working across the globe. And really, we were lucky that in the last 2 years, we're driving digital transformation, technology innovation in the organization. So technology and digital are seen as a core of the business now, not just a enabling function. In terms of diversity and inclusive agenda, there has been a lot of focus at least I saw in the last 2 years around women in digital Mars. There have been a lot of focus around inclusive and diversity strategy in the organization. One of the things the organization has been focused on, which I saw, is focusing on unconscious bias. So in many locations, we have done some of the trainings and awareness trainings to our associates focusing on unconscious bias. I thought it was really, really good call out, because this is fundamentally help people to be more aware of the different background, of also where people coming from, and so that they don't have to make a biased decision in most of the time. But again, if you look at even in our organizations, if you look at gender diversity, we still have some challenges. Women actually less represented in the information technology space, which is very similar to many other companies as of today.
100%. I completely agree. You know, that as I mentioned before, you know, we are in the recruitment world, our business, and we're seeing it. Like I said, it is such a hot topic, and we're now introducing a diversity inclusion process that we're offering to customers, and a lot of the big tech companies, they want more women in leadership roles. So of course we're adding this into our process too. But that's fair enough. And you know, coming on to like your opinion, right? What would you say is the biggest deterrent for women in the current workplace right now?
Yeah, so first, as represented, I think I saw a number in general, out of 100%, only 25% women representing high-tech space. That says a lot. I do think there are a few challenges behind this. One is really the talent pipeline. So you think about talent resources starting from colleges or universities, where already there is a gap of women being able to pursue STEM subjects at that time. I think if you really want to address a gap, the starting point has to be encouraging more young girls to study the STEM subjects. I know there are various organizations. For example, in US, there's a STEM for girls. In different parts of the world, there are different organization ongoing, but I still think a lot of efforts have to be made to encourage girls to study such kind of subjects. The second one, which I thought, which is very relevant to what you're doing in terms of contractor and staffing business, to make sure that for every single position or job, let's put it there, make sure there's a gender equality. When people select candidates, for example, force in that talent slate to have gender equality. If there is no women in that talent pipeline, make sure that take extra efforts to having women talents in the pipeline, in the slate because that has to be very, very intentional. If the organization doesn't put any efforts there, and the situation will continue. And one of the things I saw is if you look at junior level in tech space, you probably don't feel the difference or gender inequality. But then when women pursue the senior roles in their career ladder, then that's where you see the challenge. So from manager level to director level, and then director to vice president or even senior, you see less women representation in the tech space across all companies almost.
Great. Okay. Interesting. And you know, you're in a management position, right? What do you think, let's say for 2021 and even moving forward, how do you think that you're going to best promote women in tech and nurture people and nurture women in tech within Mars?
I think the first one is really around putting additional efforts to really promote our initiative, Women in Digital Mars. That's
Sure.
one. But secondly, from my personal perspective, I would say spending more time to mentor young women and building that mentoring circle to provide support and also provide some guidance and some help to young women. I think this is very important. The third one is really leveraging my external connection and network to help women in tech space in our company to connect with people in the industry and in other companies, which I thought super important because through the connection, through experience sharing, they're able to learn from each other so that they get a kind of advice from other sources as well, not just within the organization. Sure. I think those are things I can actually manage, directly. That's my commitment, aligned with International Women's Day.
Great, super. Are you celebrating anything for International Women's Day?
There's a Women in Digital Mars initiative, which is going to be launched on that day. From my personal perspective, obviously we're going to celebrate in the company. But from my personal perspective, I have a teenager girl, and two of us will celebrate together. I think it's important at young age so that she's aware of what's going on.
100%.
And being, I think that's what we're going to do at home.
Yeah. Well, hopefully this interview will help with the celebration of that. What would you recommend as an employer for other companies to have the right infrastructure to support women in tech? What would you recommend there?
I would really recommend the companies to set up tangible KPIs to measure the progress they make to attract more women into the space.
Sure.
Because if the company only talk about it and setting up something informal, that is not going to make a fundamental difference. My personal suggestion is really putting every single role, putting women into the pipeline, into the slates for talent selection. Mm-hmm. If there's no women, make extra efforts to find the right candidates. I think that's something every company can do as long as they put additional efforts.
Sure. And great. And then, in terms of, us, we're in the staffing world, of course, as you know, when we've been working with Mars, we've been acting more as a boutique partner that doesn't just act as a traditional staffing company. But what do you think we should be doing more to encourage women in tech?
One is establish the talent pipeline. So to encourage more women candidates in your staff pipeline. Yeah. I think that's fundamental. The other one, I think probably you think about at the early stage of women development, maybe do something or encourage women to pursue tech career in university or colleges. I don't know what you're doing there, but I would think addressing the gaps at early stage of women career development would definitely help a lot.
Sure. Okay, and my last question I probably have for yourself is, we've seen that the diversity inclusion is being introduced worldwide. We've seen that, this is a hot topic now. It's not just International Women's Day. We're just doing this interview because we think this is a great topic around International Women's Day. But how would you see that the world of talent acquisition is changing now?
Yeah, I would say if I see the talent acquisition in the world compared with 20 years ago, when I actually started my career, I think one thing is it become more global. Yeah. Obviously, you see talent actually traveling or rotating across different geographies. I think the boundary of country geography is blurred because nowadays you can do your job remotely. I mean, COVID basically accelerate this change, right? So you can do your job. So I think it's a global competition in terms of the talent pipeline. That's one. Therefore, diversity and inclusion is super important when you have truly diverse workforce working together remotely. and your strategy, the way you work, it has to be very, very different. And it's not on surface, in the organization, you have people from different races, different countries, different background, but then most important thing, how you actually encourage a culture where people can work together, having a true belief all together. So that's how they can drive a common goal in the organization. And that's one trend. The second trend I see is also specific in the technology space. I think also the fundamental belief is super important. Therefore, I think the company, the organization who have a purpose, a true purpose, which resonates their employees will win. If the company doesn't have a true purpose, and you may attract people in a short term, but in a longer term, you lose the talents. I think the true purpose, the culture of the organization is really, really something can encourage the talents and attract the best talents in the world.
Sure. Great. And if there was one last message for you to give for International Women's Day, but also for diversity, inclusion, and women in tech, what would that be?
I think I would say it's around creating that inclusive culture. So we can, at the end of the day, we can do a lot of R&D, inclusive and diversity initiatives, a lot of events, but the fundamental is all about being inclusive, truly inclusive culture.
Great. Well, look, Miao, I know you're super busy. I really do appreciate you taking your time today. I know this is, great for the industry, and I know a lot of people are going to be excited to see this interview with yourself and I. But yeah, like I said, I really appreciate it, and it was great to have you on the interview today.
Thank you, Jamie. Thank you for having me today.
No worries. I wish you the best of luck.
And you too.
Take care. Bye-bye.